Welcome back to the Blue Review. Clinton Yates, Greg Bergman. The Blue Review is always presented by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. Last night, the Dodgers did get the win over your former team, the Nationals. I know you're a big Dodger guy now, but that's 2 in a row against them. And also, so on the mound, Tony Gonsolin, right? So Tony Gonsolin is a very strange starting pitcher. He gives up a ton of contact. He gives up loud, hard contact. He lets guys on base. He can be a little bit wild where he walks people and he puts people on. The thing is, he doesn't fret over it whatsoever. And he gets out of it. He only gave up 1 run, but there were people on the base paths at all times. And that's not just last night. This is just in general who he is. Now, you might not be comfortable with that for the most part, but he does it for the last 3 years that he's been up, and he gets out of those jams consistently.
He's the kind of pitcher that on a bad team, you're like, okay, you know what I mean? This is what you take. Sure, busy base pass, loud outs, maybe not outs all the time. But on a good team, it's very noticeable, especially when you're talking about a team that has the kind of staff that is sort of, I don't want to say this season notwithstanding, but in general, sort of a more dominant, heavy type of thing. You know, he got a great season last year in which he sort of turned into a person that he's not. But now that he's back to the Tony Gonsolin sort of we know, it's tough on the nerves, bro. It's not easy to watch that dude when he starts. It just isn't.
I mean, and you're right, it isn't. But if you kind of look at it, he is actually the 4th best pitcher on this staff at this moment.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Dustin May's out for a little while, but he's the 4th guy. And if you're going to be the 4th guy and you have an under 2 ERA, I think you're going to be all right.
But let me ask, his specific win-loss record aside, I would be curious to know what the win-loss record is of the Dodgers when he pitches. Just as a thing, because they're not the same. They're obviously not the same thing.
Sure.
I just don't. He'll get you innings. I mean, he gets you innings. He's a guy that knows. He's a smart pitcher is the thing. Whether or not his stuff is there is a different discussion. But I think he's a cerebral kind of guy, but he just doesn't have the dominant stuff that we're used to seeing from this team. And therefore it makes for a little bit of a roller coaster, even against teams like, the Washington Nationals.
Right. And it's like, so last night specifically, he went 6 innings. He only pitched and he only had 70 pitches. They took him out in the 7th. They brought in Alex Vesia, which I think we're almost done with Alex Vesia on this team at this point. He came in, gave up 2 or 3 runs right away.
Right.
And then you had to have guys like JD Martinez hit a big old bomb because he's a just dingers dude, and that's what he does. But that's where that all kind of come in. And JD, by the way, has been fantastic. He's had 3 home runs in 3 straight games. He's had something like 7 home runs in his last 10 games. He's been on fire.
So here's the deal. We're getting close to All-Star game season, which means we're getting close to All-Star game festivities. And when people are hitting home runs, I'm switching back and forth because I'm trying to lull you into what I'm getting ready to say. JD Martinez better be in the home run derby. I get that people find that gimmicky. People find it ridiculous. Players on good teams don't actually do this because they don't want to mess up their swings. But this guy's mashing the ball right now. And I like the home run derby. I do not subscribe to the theory of it messes up my swing for the second half of the season. To me, I'm not going to say bunk, but for somebody whose job it is, particularly for JD to do this, yes, come to Seattle, JD. Come hit in the home run derby because I think, frankly, you can win it. I mean, is there somebody else hitting a bunch of yams all over the shop in MLB that I'm not aware of that I think would be better at it right now? No, there's not. I mean, there's a couple guys, but he's got to be in the top 8 guys that are competing in that come Seattle.
He is. So his guys, like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani's got a bunch. Ronald Acuna's got a bunch.
Sure.
Max Muncy has a bunch. I don't know. See, and this is where I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I don't subscribe to the whole it screws up your swing, depending on who you are, though. Like if you're JD Martinez who's been doing this forever, you know what your mechanics are and you're great with your mechanics. It's not going to mess you up because who you are at that point. If you're a younger guy that's just coming up, like let's say James Outman had 15 home runs right now and he was just mashing the ball.
Right.
I would not want him in the home run derby because while he's young and his mechanics are just not fully set into who he is yet. So I think that could change him for the second half of the season. It happened with Cody Bellinger. Matt Kemp was one of those guys that had it. I've seen it too much as a Dodger fan, seeing Dodgers just completely blow it in the home run derby. I mean, Jock Peterson was like, guys just tend to fall apart when they're younger and don't have their mechanics fully set. JD, absolutely. Go for it. Have at it.
Okay. So the campaign is on. JD for home run derby. Pete Alonso's going to win it anyway because he wins it every year now. That's just how it works. But yeah. So
he should never not do the home run derby until he loses.
Yeah. I wonder, do we know if he's doing it again this year?
I don't think they've announced who the people are.
I know that, but like, okay.
Pete Alonso, wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
A jersey that says literally just dingers on the back. That's the way you do that, JD. This is called showmanship. Anyway,
I got one last thing for you. So like with the home run derby, is it your favorite of all the the skills competition in all sports?
They used to do, so this is very old school and people don't remember this. They used to do a catcher's competition. And if you want to go look this up, look up Benito Santiago throwing a ball
I'm sure
target. Like they used to do that. That was my favorite. But that was when I was a very small child. And it almost feels like something I made up in my head, but it didn't. I like the home run derby because it's the best event. Like, people show up for it more than they do the game. And of the weekends, I'd like to see more different skills competitions with the derby, man. It's pretty sweet. I was at the one that Vladdy and Pete Alonso went back and forth in Cleveland, where there were like 80. It was insane between two guys. It was fantastic. So yes, I would like to see JD Martinez participate.
Yep, let's do it. All right, let's get JD on the ballot and just tell whoever it is that they need to just put him on there. All right,
that'll do it for the commissioner today. How about that?
Yeah, you call Rob Manfred. I'll never speak to him. All right, for Clinton Yates, Greg Bergman. Thanks to LAX. We'll talk to you tomorrow.